How's everybody's morning going? I am trying to do my 5 minutes outside right now where I'm just breathing. I wasn't actually gonna do it. I wasn't intending on it anyway, and I came out here briefly to check on the dogs because it was too quiet. And I just, when the kids are too quiet, they're up to something. So I came out and I had a moment stepping out of this sliding glass door where I'm gonna reposition my arm here. Oof, jeez, I can't quite get comfortable. Let's see, what was I saying? Oh, I had a moment as soon as I stepped out the door where the wind was like blowing through the trees, and for some reason that really it's just an automatic connection with everything around me. And so I thought, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and think about that. I'm gonna sit there for 5 minutes. Why is it that when the wind blows through the trees specifically, and I hear the leaves through the trees, it is so calming to me? And just kind of decided to sit down and analyze that a little bit. If you hear some noises, that's Mason trying to decide if he's gonna drop his ball, hi buddy, into the ball thrower. He likes to chew on it a lot and then he'll drop it after a while. But so yeah, I sat down and I'm looking at these trees over they're starting to turn. Aren't they so pretty? I mean, the camera's not really focusing, but you get the idea. And I've been thinking a lot about how to feel connected with everything around me. It's one of the things that got me through and is getting me through this trauma with my sister, and that was to feel a sense of connectivity to the world around me. And for some reason, the wind is what does it for me. And so originally, this is like shower thoughts, right? When I first kind of started thinking about that, I thought, well, that makes sense, right? Because when I take it, I felt like I was I was feeling the exchange of life between the trees and me, right? I breathe out, it breathes me in, it breathes out, I breathe it in. And that the wind is kind of like the representation of that. And to have that feel of that symbiotic relationship with the trees and the plants and the animals and the balance that's there. And so that's where the thoughts started when I really started practicing some meditation, just sitting and observing and listening. And there goes the ball. Ooh, we caught it midair. Good job, bud. Okay, so that's where that thought started. And then today I sat down, but I was like, why is that the thing that just is so calming to me? And it has to be a very specific kind of moment. It's not the wind that you get when you go to the beach and it's this constant wind. I actually am not a fan of that. In fact, I don't really like at times going to the Oregon coast because I'm not a fan of that kind of wind. Sometimes you get out on the beach and it's this constant bombardment of a solid breeze, and the sand is kicking up and blowing at you, and I'm not a fan of that. But this is, I don't know if you can hear it, but it comes and it goes. It's making the trees talk, I think. And I realize that it's that invisible force that it's there. And it's there, and it's because the trees are moving. So it's kind of that realization of the thing that a reminder that that exists and that's there and that's life, right? That's life moving the trees. I'm feeling very philosophical. And there was something else that I made a connection with that. It's okay. I'll remember it later. But yeah. It's just reminding me that we're all connected to everything on this planet. And that gives me a feeling of purpose, and I'm actually feeling really, really relaxed right now thinking about that. Like, it's very peaceful to think about how everything relies on everything else, and I am not this separate entity living on the planet. I am part of it. And that circular exchange, that, once again, that symbiotic relationship that's happening. I tried a few minutes ago. I've been meaning to try this. I briefly saw something about there was some science behind it. Standing on the ground without your shoes on and feeling really grounded. And there's actually some kind of like magnetic field thing that's happening, that when you wear your shoes, you don't get that exchange, but when you're barefoot on the ground, you do. And it can be very, very grounding. And I know there's some therapists who recommend, like, and not saying necessarily the science behind it, but taking your shoes off and standing on the ground and breathing. And I felt like it was like holding me up, right? I don't ever just stand there and think about how when life gets too hard, it feels like I have to carry it on my own, and forgetting that the ground is literally holding you up. And it just kind of helped make the connection with the earth, and that I can let my heaviness go into the earth. And I felt like my feet became glued to the ground, and the heaviness just like settled down into my hips and my feet, and I just felt really connected. It was actually I was like, oh my gosh, why haven't I tried this before? It's amazing. The only problem is I don't really have any grass in my yard, so I had to kind of stand in the dirt. But I really wanted to try it. So it's just my yard right now, because it's been the dry season. There's like I've got this common mallow that's going crazy. We've got morning glory that comes in at the end of the year. So now that the rainy season, it'll get grassy again. But like right now it's kind of dusty. Okay. I hope that's helpful for you guys. That I honestly, I thought that was going to be like a 3-minute video. I always start thinking, like, especially when I'm talking, I'll start thinking about one thing, and that makes the next connection, which makes the next connection, which make it just kind of, it keeps going and going and going. And I'm really glad that it did, because it was a wonderful way to analyze and think about why is that important for me, and why is that working for me. So maybe it'll work for you. Give it a try. It might not be for you. That's fine too. But if it is something you're willing to try, it's worth it. It's super simple. Go outside and listen to the trees talk to you. Bye. Have a great afternoon.